Spellbound is a femtastical, actual play D&D podcast. It follows the adventures of Princess Theia, the human sorceress, played by Lydia.r.miller.
Yeah, you're cool to meet you.
Delaelia, the elven ranger, played by Kelsea Botwinick-Haruza.
We get it, plants, we got it.
Feliks, the gnome fighter, played by Rebecca Munoz.
Yeah, Felix says, don't do drugs.
And me, your DM, Emma Carter. Hello, hello. Welcome back, listeners. This will be our last episode before Halloween. So happy Halloween, everybody. I hope despite the pandemic, everyone will be at least able to cozy up at home with a scary movie, or maybe trick-or-treat in a socially distant way. If you need an escape from the cold, wet, dreary world outside, today's episode is here to transport you to a beautiful elven city. So let's get started. Heads up, we spend about the first 8 minutes of today's episode talking about the ending of She-Ra, correct casting, and a couple of other things. So if you want to jump right to the action, go ahead and skip forward about 8 minutes in. When last we left our heroes, they met Delalia's cousin, Barron, who asked them to aid him in collecting a mandrake root. Upon meeting Barron, Theia was caught off guard and belched the biggest belch of her life right in his face. And now our team is making a pit stop in Delalia's hometown before they continue with their journey. What awaits them in the elven city of Afonydheuoedd? Let's find out. I will see you in the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I finished the series, and I also am going to throw myself off the roof because there's nothing to live for anymore.
I want you to watch People.
Do what?
Have you watched People?
Nope.
No, I
Nothing else to
haven't.
live for. I literally haven't watched anything else. I've just been reading.
Kipo's good too.
It helps ease the pain.
It's also got queer characters.
Okay.
Representation.
I'm not willing to go back. At this point, I need to have Black people, other POCs, and queer people in my shit, or I don't want to watch it.
That's what
The
Kipo
end.
is.
I
Okay,
know.
great.
Yeah.
And also, the main girl, Kipo, is voiced by the same person who voices Glimmer.
Yes. It's a Netflix
really?
original.
All
Yeah.
right.
Oh my
All right,
gosh,
I'm
yes.
in.
Everybody
Yeah.
watch Kipo. I love it so much.
Okay.
I'm like,
Rebecca and I will report back.
But we've all finished She-Ra now, right? We've all finished it?
Yeah.
Oh my god, guys! They're totally gay! And it's great!
called it the first fucking episode, and everyone was like, no, they're just sisters. And then they were gay!
It's
It's
so
a weird
good.
blurry line, but it's so there and it's so real. And
No, I definitely
Goals.
identify with Glimmer, though, on the, because she's got some issues with control. And I've got some issues with control.
You and Glimmer are a lot alike. But in good ways.
She's so fucking stubborn. She's so stubborn, and she's so pig-headed, and she has a really short fuse, and...
But she's also brave, and she doesn't give up, and she knows what she believes in, and she knows what she wants, and she has a huge heart,
Yeah.
and she's a good leader.
yeah. Because the thing that's
Oh.
weird about being a good leader is it's not always somebody who's a bossy bitch like myself. Sometimes it's someone like you who leads by with empathy and example. You know what I mean? Like someone who has had experiences and uses those experiences to see that other people have too. You know, it's not a
Yeah.
selfish thing. Instead, it's something where you're like, oh, I heard. I had a thing, and then you're able to translate, which is so important. So cool.
Thanks, guys. I don't know what to do with all of that. So I'm just going to say thanks.
I think a good solution is to just be Glimmer for Halloween.
I'm 99% sure that this is a confirmed fact because it came from somebody who worked on the show. But apparently She-Ra was originally supposed to be a person of color.
Really? I wonder
why
if
didn't-
like
Mm-hmm.
Mara
Why
was
not?
like an original Shira design.
They thought, I think, like the producers or the old white men in the office thought that that's going too far and changing it. Like they like don't.
Because
You
she
can't
was
change the
originally
flagship
white and
character's
blonde.
race.
But
Yeah.
like literally so many other characters
But
were
that's why-
changed to characters of color. Like it wouldn't have made a huge difference to have I was the one thing about the show that I was like, I love this show, but it sucks that it's like a
Yeah.
white lady who's like
I
surrounded
thought
by
that
all these
too.
people
I
of
did
color.
too. She's
Yeah, it's
so
too bad that
fucking
white
Aryan.
Jesus is here again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Aryan.
Yeah, thank God white Jesus is here.
Uh-huh.
But
I'm just so glad.
yeah, and so. But that's why, like, you know, they had oh fuck, I just forgot. Ooh,
Mara?
sorry. Yeah.
Do we have a baby?
Why she was a person of color.
Yeah. That was like
Wait, was she? Yay!
Yeah.
that was like a
It's also
relief,
like,
but-
as a white person, it's also no one's business if you are or not. Like, look at Halsey. Like, people are like, oh, yeah, so you're black? And she's like, I mean, yeah, I am. And
I mean,
people
yeah, why
would
not?
prove it. And it's like, no, don't prove it. You know, like, it's none of your fucking business.
Mhm.
Just like, I
Yeah.
am,
yeah.
like, I don't need to explain to you why I have Jewish heritage. I don't need to explain that to you or make it okay, you know?
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
if someone wants to hire me as a result of that, which would be weird, but if they did, you know, then that would be for
Mhm.
them to be okay with. But I know that's how and that's what they say. That's what people say about like colorblind casting and stuff, or correct casting is like, are we
Ooh,
going to
I like
hire
that
people?
term better.
Correct. Yeah. But are we going to
Mhm.
hire people to be Latinx people in a Latinx role? All right. I come in and I say I am Sebastian, and you're like, well, your name's Smith, and it's like, no, you don't get to fucking question if I
Right.
am or not. I say I am.
can't-
Do you need to see my birth certificate? You know, like,
Yeah,
that's
you-
weird. So
It is
Yeah,
weird,
he's
especially
he's debated. Oh no, he's debated like switching to his grandmother's maiden name just so that like people actually will hire him as a Latino.
there's a really good
so-
answer for him that would be really easy. That would just be taking
Mhm.
Munoz. My husband took my name.
I know, right? I suggested it, but I don't know. I mean, I would have been fine taking his the
Like, I know
maiden
he-
name.
I know he
with-
doesn't listen
it's
because he
rolled
doesn't
on.
support you.
Oh!
What? What?
You have to at least let him like play back that part to him just so we can do it. Anyway, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely should. But there's a
Rebecca-
perfectly fine Spanish last name in your family already, is what I'm saying.
Anyway, so we're gonna go to Afonydheuoedd. I was trying to figure out like how long it would take us to get there. I was telling Rebecca, I think I got my times mixed up. I think that when you guys came out of Sylvale, it was mid-morning, and then you took your nap, and then you woke up and just had this whole thing with Barron. So it's like afternoon. That's why when he said, because I was like, he just said he was out here all day looking, and it's like, oh yeah, that's because it's supposed to be later in the day. So you guys are closer to Afonydheuoedd than you were to a Hayes tree. So,
Kelsey. Sorry.
what?
She was just so
I wrote
invested.
boof and then did a dramatic gif cry
Yeah.
or emoji cry.
So, so you guys are gonna go back to
Picture
Afonydheuoedd.
this first. I'm really proud of my work.
Yeah.
I do love the drawing. Let me go.
I'll take a picture.
Okay.
Bill! There's Bill!
Oh,
Bill's there!
Bill's there. He's there in spirit.
He's the boof.
He's his both.
I think of every time you say boof. I'm like, he's saying beef in French.
Using beef in French.
Both. Oh, yeah, look at that.
So you guys are walking. No, Sunny, he's gone. So you guys are
You guys.
Does Sunny take
You
us home?
guys are walking.
You guys are walking. You're walking away. So you're walking along through the forest, and Barron is leading the way now, and he's holding the jar, and he seems to be looking for something, Delaelia. He's going around knocking on various trees and then listening to them. and then not finding what he wants, going to the next one. He says, no, not that one. Is it this? No. One moment. And he keeps going around knocking on trees and putting his ear to the tree.
Do you need help, Barron?
I'm just trying to find the right tree. And he knocks on one and listens and pauses. And then he smiles. And he says, yes, here we are. All right then. And he knocks on the tree in a specific pattern. And then he, oh my gosh, this is so Harry Potter. And then he gestures to the tree with one hand as a gentleman would, and he says, after you.
Okay. And I tromp toward it.
And Delaelia...
Do I know what to do?
Yeah, Delaelia knows what to do. Delaelia confidently walks into the tree and disappears.
And Thea's gonna look at Felix and say, do we just do that?
Yeah, I guess we just walk into the tree. There's gotta be an elf thing.
It's not every tree. We have a couple of shortcuts here and there.
Okay, good.
You have to be in the know.
After you.
After you, Your Highness. And Felix gestures to Thea, after you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great.
Ladies first.
He's gonna walk forward and try and gently caress the tree and try and lean against it and then trip and fall face first through it.
And pretty on brand.
Yeah, Felix is gonna walk through it, and he's kind of pulling Ramsey after him. It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Where are you going into the tree? And they go through.
And Barron, once you've all gone through, Barron gives a big just so annoyed with all of you weird people. And then he composes himself and he walks through the tree.
Cousins.
So you step through the tree and you come out on... Earlier, when you guys were passing Afonydheuoedd the first time, you saw a big gate. You are now on the other side of that gate. It's behind you, and you've just stepped out of a thin white tree. Upon crossing the threshold and traveling through this teleportive tree, you now see that you are standing in a forest of white ash trees, tall and thin. The forest here looks particularly well-groomed, very different than the forest you just stepped out of. Here there are no ugly brambles or unkept bushes. Everything here is pristine. In fact, pristine is a good word to describe all of Afonydheuoedd. Afonydheuoedd, you will soon find out, is like the fantasy city equivalent of a 5-star, eco-friendly spa and resort, where every meal is 100% organic, locally sourced, and the sheets are made from recycled materials.
That's so real.
You can see why Delaelia has issues with this place.
Home at last, says Barron, and he heads towards the city. And you guys follow him through the forest of trees into the city of Afonydheuoedd. As you enter the city, you see that similar to Silvale, there are homes and shelters structured up in trees and around trees. And like Silvale, the trees here have grown bigger. So as the closer you get to the city, the bigger the trees become. But where Silvale seemed to want to build a life around the forest as it naturally was, Afonydheuoedd has shaped the forest around Afonydheuoedd. Where Silvale was rustic, earthy, simple, Afonydheuoedd is again pristine, tranquil, artistic, eloquent. You cross bridges with swirly, spirally handrails that look as if the wood was just asked to grow that way. You walk underneath large, tall archways. Everything here seems to be made out of that white wood from the ash trees or out of some kind of smooth white stone. the ground beneath your feet is either soft, perfectly trimmed green grass or perfectly smooth white stone. You also see animals here: deer, squirrels, rabbits, birds, and they have no fear as you pass by them. They are existing in this perfectly preserved part of the world. But entering Afonydheuoedd is also like entering a library or a museum. You don't hear people hustling or bustling about. It's not like that at all. You catch the faintest sound of someone somewhere playing a harp, birds chirping. But other than that, the city is very serene. Even as you see people, all elves, milling about, everyone carries themselves with a certain level of grace and poise. Theia and Feliks, you will notice that gender expression seems to be a lot more fluid here. You see elves of all shades and skin tones, some wearing flowy dresses, others wearing flowy tunics, some with hair down to their waist, others with short cropped hair. There doesn't seem to be any pressure here to perform any specific gender. And Barron leads you through the city. As you walk through, you catch glimpses of there are various beautiful gardens that have been cultivated in artistic patterns. You see a meditation circle where a group of elves are all sitting in a big circle, and there's an inner circle and another circle inside, and one elf at the center who's leading this meditation. You see artisans crafting clothes. You can peek through a window and see an elf with a spindle, and others that are creating beautiful garments. There are garments on display. It feels like you're in an elegant, high-end, but naturey, beautiful society. You see elves that are dining outside, having a picnic. You see a lot of just really amazing things. It's bright here. It's quiet and it's graceful and poised, but it's also very bright. Versus Highguard was very dark. There was a lot of stone in Highguard, a lot of walls. There are no walls here. Everything is very open. And Barron leads you through the town. He's not really bothering to give you any kind of specific tour. He's just doing his thing. And he leads you through the town. Delaelia, is there anything that you, like, how are you feeling as you pass through all this stuff?
Delaelia is just sort of like almost looking like she's being frog marched through the town a little bit, just like really like strictly standing up straight, and like not because that's what's expected, just because she's there and she's forcing herself to be there, and that's what she's doing.
Feliks reaches up and takes her hand and gives it a squeeze.
Yeah, Thea's doing that thing where she's like watching Delaelia but trying not to look like she's watching Delaelia, but like checking in every 2 steps, like, how's she feeling?
Yep. And I, at like halfway through our walk, like before we get to Barron's place, I go, "Welcome to Afonydheuoedd."
Thanks.
Only Delaelia will pick up on the fact that as she walks by, it's very subtle because they're all elves, but there is a certain turning of heads, like even just like the following of eyes as you walk by, as your presence is noticed, is basically what I'm trying to say. It's not overtly being called out, but you notice people noticing you. It's not unfriendly, you're just being noticed. And I think Barron leads you to his home / studio. You enter it. You have to go up some stairs. There's some like beautiful winding stairs around a tree, and you are in a beautiful, well-lit, well-furnished, beautifully furnished apartment. I'm just gonna say it's an apartment. And as he approaches the door, he puts a finger up, like, wait here, and he knocks on the door before kind of flourishingly presenting himself in the doorway, and he says, "Darlings, I'm home." And And nobody responds. And then he like motions for you guys to come in, and he says, "And I come bearing gifts." And then you hear a voice say, "Oh, gifts! I thought you'd forgotten." And then another voice says, "He did forget, darling. He's just trying to make up for it." And you enter, and you see the beautiful home of Barron, Asher, and Pria.
It's a condo, isn't it?
It's a condo. That's what it is. It's a condo. It's a beautiful condo with beautiful, elegant, sleek furniture. It looks very modern for an elf condo. It's very artistic. It's not necessarily homey or cozy, but it's very chic. And you see two people in the condo. They are around a table that is this beautiful white table with like swirly legs and some intricate design on the top. And they are both seated at the table. And you see that there are some teacups and some pastries out on the table. And the two people in this room are as follows. One of them one of them is standing and one of them is sitting. There is a taller figure who is standing. This person is probably taller than all of you. They're the tallest person in the room. They have broad shoulders, but a trim form and delicate features. This is Asher. Asher looks like a walking crystal with cloudy gray-blue eyes and long platinum blonde opalescent hair. And you notice as Asher turns to look at you and his hair ripples, it ripples in sort of a holographic rainbow. Like, you know, when you think it's just white and platinum, but there's really like a whole rainbow of colors in there that catches with the light. And he moves with such grace. And then seated at the table, holding a cup of tea and a pastry in one of her hands, is Pria. She is short and curvy, like I said, and she's got an awesome pink pompadour, and she is wearing like a crop top with some pants, and Asher is wearing just like a long, beautiful light blue, not so much gown, but like a really long, I guess kind of like a gown. It's not really a dress, but it's like robes, like long, light blue, like flowy robes.
Awesome. Like a shift?
Yeah, like a shift. And Pria says, "Whoa, who's this?"
This is your...
Hi, I'm Felix.
This is your new friend, Lorne. Lorne, go over and be cute.
What?
And he is just like standing awestruck in the doorway.
Lorne is a visitor, but Lorne is here for you. Happy anniversary. And Lorne goes over there and dances about.
Wait, what is this? Oh my goddess, is that a dragon?
A pseudo dragon, yep. From Barron. From Barron. Barron got him.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool. And immediately Pria is like nose to nose with Lorne, and she says, "Hi, little guy. Hi. Your name is Lorne? Is that what his name is? Is your name Lorne? Hi, Lorne. Oh my gosh." And she's just like obsessed. Asher turns to you, the rest of you, and he says, "Welcome to our home. May I offer you some tea or a cookie?"
And I nod at the others.
Great.
Yeah. I'm like, you can tell.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And Barron strides forward in front of you guys, kind of like interrupting this, and he says, "Darling, I have brought you the most wonderful gift. I spent all day looking for it. I sacrificed one of my very favorite earrings to bring you this." And he presents the pot to Asher. And Asher looks at the pot, and he's like on one knee with like the pot up in his arms. And Asher looks at the pot and looks at Barron and looks at you guys, and he says, "You helped him find this, didn't you, Delaelia?"
If it helps, he paid dearly for it. But also, don't take that lid off.
"I found you a mandrake root, And Asher is very neutral. Like his face is it's not unpleasant. It's just very neutral. And he says, matter-of-factly, you forgot our anniversary and I'm not going to forget that. But thank you. And he takes the pot and he sets it down on the table. And Barron just like, if he was a cartoon character, he would just like fall over and clutch his heart, just being super dramatic, like, oh, you hurt me so. And after I tried so hard to get this for you, and Asher immediately goes to you and he says, please have a seat. Welcome. Delaelia, you have not introduced your guests. Please.
Yes, I wanted to make sure that your beloved had a chance to display his prizes for you.
Oh, he has made quite a display. And Asher smiles a little bit. And he says, my name is Asher, and this is Pria, although I would have hoped that Barron would have told you that.
He did. And they were very excited to meet you. This is my friend. Shit. I did it. I got it earlier. I have it. It's ready.
Please, take your time.
This is my friend, Feliks Grampton St. Frumterabel, a hero, and his companion, Ramsey. This is my other friend, Princess... Sorry, what?
Just an adventurer, not a hero. I'm an adventurer.
He's a hero. And then this is Princess Theia Penrose of Highguard, and her companion, her brother, who has been magically turned into a golden rabbit, Dashing.
And Thea's gonna do a little curtsy.
And Pria pops her head up and she says, golden rabbit? What? And Asher says, a princess. My, that is quite extraordinary.
Former.
Oh. Well, former Princess Theia, adventurer Felix Sixgentig Frunterabel. He says it right.
Damn.
He says it perfectly.
Hey, you did! Look at you!
Please, I must implore you, have a seat. Make yourself at home. And he goes over to the table and he begins to pour some tea into cups for you. And Barron is still lying on the ground being way over dramatic.
He is like rooted to the spot staring at Pria. And she just
upset.
puts her arms out with Dashing in her arms and says, Pria? Pria.
Huh?
Your Barron said you this is my brother, he's a rabbit. His name is Dashing.
And she gets
not usually a rabbit.
And she gets really close to Dashing's face and she says, he is so cute! And she's just like, it's just look at the little cheeks, look at the little face, look at his little ears. Oh, this is your brother?
Uh-huh. Tia is pink.
That's so cool. Here, come on over. And she pats the seat next to her. She says, do you want a cookie? I made them.
Yes, I mean, yeah, that'd be nice.
Delaelia sits next to Asher.
Chaotic lesbian. Disaster lesbian.
It's so cute.
Did you say disaster lesbian? What was
yes,
that?
I did. Yes, Felix sits. And I was about to ask, are there plants outside? I'm guessing there's some decorative foliage outside the house, right?
Yeah. Oh, plants is it's like a thing here. Everything's decorated in plants and flowers and succulents.
Yeah, Ramsey's outside eating part of the house. He didn't come inside. And yeah, Felix plops down on a chair, very grateful to be sitting on an actual chair.
And Asher sets down a teacup in front of you first, Princess Theia, former Princess Theia, and then he sets one down in front of Felix, and then he sets one down in front of Delaelia, and as he's doing that, he says, darling, can you please take a snack to Ramsey outside so that he stops eating our house? Very pleasantly. And Barron stands up and says, anything for you, my moon? And he goes and he grabs some veggies and he tosses them outside for Ramsey.
Your hair looks very beautiful, Asher.
Thank you. Barron did it, of course.
Of course. How have you all been?
We're good. I mean, we've been fine, but like today this is Pria. I mean, like we were just gonna like have a little party, but this is so cool. It's so nice to meet you guys and your brother Bunny and your dragon Lorne. This is so cool. I've never met a human before or a gnome, and
Yeah, it's like you're cool to meet you.
Yes, yeah.
What do you?
Oh, you go ahead.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say go ahead.
Sorry, Felix, go.
Your house is very impressive. The whole city is. I've never been inside an elf city before. It's really something to behold. So, did you guys grow up with Delaelia?
Asher smiles and he says, "I'm afraid that I am a bit older than Delaelia and Barron and Pria. Although, honestly, you guys wouldn't know by looking at him. He doesn't look older in any way." And he says, but yes, I'm acquainted with Delaelia here. And Pria pipes up and she says, "Welcome back, Delaelia. Do you want a cookie?"
Yes, thank you. I would enjoy a cookie.
They're really good. You did a good job on the cookies.
And Rebecca, what kind of cookies are they? Can they be the cookies from earlier that you described?
Oh, yes. So they are shortbread cookies, and biting into them, it's like biting into a cloud. They are the softest shortbread cookies you've ever eaten in your life. And there are two different types of shortbread cookies. One is a rose and lemon shortbread cookie, and the other is a lavender and strawberry flavored shortbread cookie. And there's like little specks of the fruit in there, so you can see that these were made like organically. Like there's like petals in there too. Like, and they are just amazing, buttery goodness.
Yeah.
So delicious.
These are very good. Thank you, Pria.
You're welcome.
So what all has been happening here in Afonydheuoedd? We come bearing very bad news from our neighbors.
And Barron kind of cuts into that, Delaelia, and he says, now, no need to spoil our anniversary. I have presented my gifts to the two of you. Perhaps now there can be an exchange. And Asher cuts him off, and Asher says, "Things have been fine here. I'm sorry to hear that there has been unpleasantness with your party. What brings you to Afonydheuoedd? How did you come to meet your companions, Delaelia?"
Well, I did leave this place so that I could figure out what was going on with humanity and help save them. And did find that there is quite a lot wrong. And I took Theia here from her kingdom where she was being forced to pretend that she didn't have magic. And we went to save her brother, who is, as you know, now a rabbit, from a great darkness that murdered all of Silvale, all of them.
It's like the best synopsis I've ever heard in my life.
Nailed it.
So Asher listens to all of this just with a totally, not neutral, but like an interested, a calm but interested, polite face, and nods his head, and he says, "That is extraordinary and sounds difficult. I'm sorry that you've faced troubles in your homeland, former Princess Theia. And the news of Silvale, you say that, please, can you go into detail? I have never been to Silvale myself." And Pria kind of pops up again. She's kind of shorter, so she just like pops up anytime she says something. And she says, I want to hear about that. And she looks to you because you're right next to her, Theia. She says, I've got family from Silvale.
Oh.
That's where my grandma's side of the family was from. So what happened? She was kind of enamored with dashing and was only half listening until you said Silvale, Delaelia.
I'm sorry.
And Barron interrupts and he says, let's let's exchange gifts, shall we? And he gives you looks like, don't fuck up this day for me. Let's Pria, what gifts did you get for me and Asher? And Pria and Asher look at Barron like Pria looks at him like, okay, rude, and Asher looks at him like, this is my life. But he loves him.
Tell what his love language is.
And Pria says, okay, Asher, do you want to go first? And Asher says, I will happily go first. And Asher stands and goes over to the kitchen area, and he takes out 2 little potion bottles. And he comes over to the table, and each of them have like a little bow on it. And he hands one to Pria, and she looks at it and gasps. She says, "Oh, my favorite! Thank you so much. I can't wait to drink this tonight." And then he hands another one to Barron, and as Barron goes to grab it, he pulls it back and gives Barron a look. And then Barron kind of like meekly smiles and says, I am sorry I forgot our anniversary, my moon. And Asher looks at him, and Asher says, I forgive you, and I love you, my son. And Barron takes the bottle.
Like the celestial body.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Kelsey was given a look.
And he looks at the bottle.
I'm going to start calling my partner Fetus. Yes. Soft fetus.
Oh, no.
Oh. And Barron looks at the bottle, and he starts to giggle. He's like, and he like tucks it in his shirt. And he says, thank you. I will enjoy that as well. And he looks at your quizzical face, Theia, and he says, Asher is an herbalist. If you have any apothecary needs, Asher is your elf.
And Theia gets a really excited look on her face and turns to Asher and says, Have you heard of a purple mushroom with green spots that one side makes you grow and the other makes you shrink?
Oh, yes, I have.
You have? Do you know where to find it?
I do. He thinks for a moment, and he says, they grow in swamplands. I would recommend, if you are looking for one, trying the Waste. Although it is a dangerous place, you should not go alone and should be very careful. But if it is that important to you, you could find them in the Waste.
Okay, that's really helpful, actually. Thank you.
Oh, and they are called, what are they called? What are they called, guys? Collaboration.
They're called Perplume.
Perplume, yes.
Oh, I love that.
The Perplume mushroom is quite rare, but often sought after for its apothecary purposes. If you do go searching for one, and he leans forward, Theia, and it's like you get like a waft of like vanilla, like he smells beautiful even, and he's fixing his beautiful gaze on you and smiles a little bit, and he says, if you do find some, I would quite appreciate if you brought me back a sample. I would be happy to make whatever you needed from them if you could find some for me as well.
I will keep my eyes peeled. Thank you.
And Pria...
She's gonna...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, you go.
As Pria pops up and she's like, Asher's really good with mushrooms.
Oh, yeah. Cool. That's... Yeah. She's gonna sit back down.
And Pria actually like saddles over to you, Theia, and she's got Dashing in her arms, and he's being really grumpy, but he's not complaining. Yeah. She's like cuddling him like he's like a teddy bear or something.
Oh.
And she shows you the bottle, and she says, this is one of Asher's special teas. and she like winks. She's like, you brew this, you put this in your tea at night, and it'll give you the most vivid and most sweet dreams. It's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's looking at you. She's also like, she's looking in your eyes. It's beautiful.
Thea is not mad about it.
Felix is just watching this, like he's like excited. Like he's just like, he's really excited that he's seeing this sort of reaction from Thea. Like he's like, yeah, get it. Like,
Thea says, well, I hope you have really sweet dreams tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, like the thumbs up from Felix.
Felix is like, yeah.
He's just behind it, like, yeah, this is great.
And I think Barron puts a hand on your shoulder, Felix, kind of like dude, and he's like, this little thing. He says, this is a special concoction as well. Let me look and see what I wrote down for it.
Dude. Of like all the dudes to all the dudes. Come on.
All the dudes to
both
all the
of
dudes.
you.
Barron says, this is Asher's special creativity.
I can't.
You drink this and you will have visions more vivid than anything else in your lifetime. They're perfect for finding inspiration for my next piece of art. And he gestures to his hair.
Huh.
Yep.
I guess you can find inspiration anywhere. Oh God, they're druggies.
Barron's looking at you, Felix, like, I bet you'd like to try some, huh? Yeah, I bet you're jealous. You got, I know you probably want to try some, wouldn't you?
Good.
Oh, you throw down.
I'm good. Yeah. Nah, he's never. No. Felix is a little uncomfortable now. He's just like, oh no.
Don't do drugs, kids. Be like Felix.
Yeah, Felix says, don't do drugs.
Exactly. I feel like you guys just looked at the audience through the screen and like had that conversation with the audience, and now you go back into the scene. And
Thea's still staring at.
Drugs are no good.
Oh my God, they'd be such a good couple, Theia and Pria. Oh. It's fine. But she's already taken.
And Pria, as you're looking at her, Theia, she pulls out from her pocket of her pants. She has two little, they're little like leaves that have been like wrapped to form like basically like an all natural gift box, like a little pocket of a leaf. And she hands one to Asher and she hands one to Barron. Delaelia is just rolling her eyes over there.
Just like, of course it's wrapped in a fucking leaf. Like, we get it, plants, we get it. That's what she was thinking the whole time walking through here. Like, it's performative. Anyway.
You're like the most anti-plant ranger ever.
Well, I love
like,
plants.
Elf ranger ever.
But why do we have to wrap a thing? Anyway.
You're practical, Elf. You're practical.
And from the leaf, Asher removes an earring, and it is like a little dangly moon. And Barron removes a little dangly sun, and Pria like gestures to her ear to show off a little dangly star. And together they are the sun and the moon and the stars.
I can't. That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
So wholesome, I want to die.
And Barron looks genuinely emotional. He says, "Oh, Pria, how did you know this is exactly what I wanted?" And he actually, she puts it in for him, and he leans over and he kisses her on the forehead. And she giggles and she says, "Because I know you and I love you." And then she goes over and she helps Asher put his in, and she reaches up and she kisses him on the cheek. And then they all hold hands for a second.
And Delaelia is like,
Thea just says, wow.
Yeah. Love is...
Yeah, Felix is just... Felix is just watching it, just like... He's got a look on his face, but he's enjoying it.
Yeah. Yeah, this isn't bad or awkward for Delaelia, but she's just like, gotta give this a second.
And Dashing hops over to you, Thea, because Pria put him down when this emotional moment was happening. He's like, "Can we go now? We're done?"
And Thea just doesn't even look at him, but raises her pinky.
I love that.
And he raises his pinky, And he just like slumps back down and curls into a little ball. And then he nibbles on a cookie. He's like, fine. And he takes a cookie and he starts eating it.
And Delaelia, like, watching everyone and not watching them because she doesn't want to pry into their, personal thing that is special. And she's just like starts slowly backing away from the table so that she'll be ready for the appropriate time. And the time has passed and she goes, okay, so we're going to head out to the armory and then we really must be going. I appreciate the hospitality.
And Theia just says, oh, okay.
And Barron says, a deal is a deal.
Oh.
You helped me procure this mandrake for my beloved, and I agreed to do something with this. And he gestures to Theia's hair.
Okay, I mean, if you guys want to go to the armory, I'll just, hang here with Pria and Barron.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I think you're in good hands.
Yeah,
you're in good hands.
We'll be back. Help her become her true self. Felix and I already are true selves. We'll go get some weapons. So, thanks, guys.
And Pria grabs your hand, Theia. They all kind of let go of each other's hand, and Pria grabs your hand and she says, "Oh, this will be so much fun. Asher did my hair, not Asher. Barron did my hair too. What color do you want?" And she's just kind of like touching your hair and looking at it, and she like pulls a leaf out of it that was stuck in there, and she drags you over to a chair, and Barron is preparing his tools and puts a cape around you. He's very eloquent when it comes to this. It's like he's in hairstylist mode, and all of a sudden, like, he's even more graceful and precise and elegant than he was before, and he's very commanding. And he says, "All right, princess, do you have any requests?"
Did she looks at Pria? Did you say color? Do I get to pick a color? Can you do colors?
If you want. It doesn't last forever, and she points to her hair. She's like, "I'm really digging pink today."
Yeah, it looks really good on you.
Thanks.
I mean, if you wanted to put some, like, teal streaks in there, I wouldn't be mad about it.
And Barron behind you makes a face like he thinks teal streaks are so lame, but Pria grabs your hands and she's like, oh, yes, let's do teal streaks.
Okay.
And we leave them there like that as Asher's clearing the table, and as Delaelia and Feliks go to leave, Asher actually accompanies them to the door, and while Theia and Barron and Pria are all working on Theia's hair, Asher catches you, Delaelia, and he says, "Tell me about Sylvia."
Okay, and so I relay it to him, and I tell him too that I've seen it now twice. This is not an exaggeration, and they didn't get out. Everybody was in the temple and were burned and killed. And Tarwater, who was a druid there, is responsible. Along with some god, his god, I guess.
Which god?
Ooh, Felix, do we know which god? I'm sorry.
Is it the god of death?
I don't think anyone ever said in the vision.
In the visions it says that the children of Sylvail were sacrificed to their false goddess, who, first of all, is not false. I met her in person. But yeah, we don't know who he was fighting for and killing for, but I can only assume he was very much changed. He didn't look right. He did not look elven anymore.
There was a symbol, though.
There was a symbol.
It was 3 triangles next to each other, it kind of looked like a crown or something.
Yeah, a big one in the center, and then or was it 3 circles?
No, that's the goddess symbol.
No, it was
the Estrella.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 3 triangles.
So a big triangle and then 2 little triangles.
What were you saying, Rebecca?
And like he kind of, Felix kind of whispers to Delaelia, do you think maybe he knows something about Zendaya?
Oh, yeah. And
like, maybe that has something to do with it.
In a vision that I had, I heard the name Zendaya as well. Do you know anything about this?
Asher narrows his eyes just ever so slightly and looks down and then looks back up and he says, I haven't heard that name in a very long time.
So you know her?
I do not know her, but Zendaya is a myth, a folk story, a tale of well, I'm afraid I don't know the full story myself. I really only remember that she was worshipped as a goddess of chaos and evil and pain and suffering and all of the dark things of the world.
Okay. Well, I did find this. I found this in Sylvale, and I pulled the book out of my bag, and I want to look to see if I see any indication of this Zendaya in here.
You don't see any indication in that book of any Zendaya, and Asher confirms, to my understanding, Zendaya is not a goddess. She was some sort of fallen figure that developed a cult following on the fringes of society. They revered her for some reason, but she is not part of the pantheon of Estrella and Kildora, Numair, and so on.
I wonder if that's who Tarwater was worshipping. That's a good lead. Thank you for that information.
Sounds like it.
Happy to help. Delaelia, before you leave, and he looks at you just with mild concern. Asher is very mild, like very, very contained and careful and pleasant. So there's no judgment here or pressure. And he says, have you spoken with your parents?
I have not.
Since your arrival?
No. Why do you ask?
Oh, I believe they would be happy to see you if you have the time before you leave.
Okay. I'll seek them out.
And he nods and he says, best of luck to you. Again, it was lovely to meet you, Adventurer Felix, Ramsey the Goat, Lorne the Dragon, Pseudo Dragon.
And Lorne, has his little spike and holds it with his fingers and is like, meh.
If you need any assistance, you know where to find us. You will always have friends in Afonydheuoedd Delaelia, even if you don't feel like you do.
Thank you, Asher. It means a lot, and I've always considered you a friend.
And he nods his head slightly and smiles and lets you depart. He's gonna stay with them in the condo.
I mean, it's his anniversary. I feel bad.
Yeah.
We're here.
Can you pick up some bunny armor while you're in there?
Hello, listeners. This is your DM, Emma Carter here. As always, I'd like to take a moment to thank you, the listener, for pressing play. If you're enjoying this episode, please consider sharing Spellbound with a friend. If you share the podcast on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, tag us and hashtag the SpellPod. I'll put your name on my NPC naming list. It's important that you tag us or use the hashtag so we can see it. So gently caress that share button if you too want to become a part of our femtastical Spellbound universe. If you'd like to communicate with us, maybe to ask a question or talk about the latest episode, please feel free to reach out. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at the SpellPod. Kelsea heads up our Twitter, and I take care of the Instagram and Facebook page. All right, that's all I have for you today, folks. Let's get back to our heroes.
So Theia, your friends, Feliks and Delaelia, bid you adieu, and they leave to go to the armory. And you are left in what we decided was an elven condo with Barron, who is Delelia's cousin, and Pria, one of Barron's partners, and Asher, Barron's other partner. They're all three in a throuple together, but they're in a polyamorous relationship. And Pria, she is currently just like staring at Dashing with big like anime eyes as he sits on the table eating one of the cookies that was left on the table, and he's kind of giving her a weird look. Like you can tell he's weirded out by her just staring at him. And Barron is preparing the chair for you for your haircut, or your hair styling, I should say. And he takes out one of those covers that they put on you to keep your outfit from getting dirty, and he gives it a big flourish. And he looks at you, Theia. Here, hold up. I lost my Zoom. There you are. I want to look at you. He gives a whoof of his hairstyling cover, and he looks you up and down, Theia, and he says, "Before I let you sit in my chair, Pria, can you take Princess Gassy here to the bathhouse?"
It was okay. Thank you. I'll just go now.
And he just kind of flicks his hand like, "Yes, you may go." And but before you leave, he reaches up without saying anything, Theia, and he just snips a small lock of your hair from your head, just, and he takes it, and you see him put it into a bowl, just kind of like drop it with his fingertips into a bowl, and he begins to mix some various liquids and creamy looking objects together. And as he's doing this mixology, as he is having this mixology moment, I think Pria is going to turn her attention to you. I always write things down and then I'm like, I'll just wing it. So as Barron takes your hair and begins mixing it, making some concoction. No. Barron starts to make a concoction with your hair. Pria stands and she turns to you and she says, "Oh, that actually sounds really nice. Would you like to go to the bathhouse?"
Sure. Yeah. I could probably use if that's, yeah. Uh-huh.
Sweet. And she looks around, and actually, no, so, and Pria, but then Pria kind of furrows her brow and she thinks, "Rebecca, what are you doing?"
We're remembering that bathhouses are like sex places.
Oh, damn it, you guys.
No, Theia is respectful. She will not make it weird.
We're sorry. You left the two dirtiest people with their mics off.
Yeah, me and Rebecca are just over here like shimmying and making like jack off motions. That's me.
No, Rebecca just does that tiny little like cute like hide behind her hands and giggle thing.
Oh no. That's my impression of Rebecca.
Well, that's what she sounds like.
But so Pria gets really excited, Theia, and she says, "Awesome, that sounds great." But then suddenly she looks concerned and she says, "Oh, wait a minute. I don't know if Delaelia told you this, but we don't really have a lot of humans around here. So, we might want to not tell people that you're from outside of the forest.
Oh, okay. So, I guess I'll just say that I'm, Delalia's no, she has a cousin.
I mean, you're kind of short. You could probably pass as a dwarf.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Cool.
Uh-huh. Sure.
Awesome. And then she grabs your hand and she turns to Dashing and Bunny Dashing. I'll remind our viewers, Dashing is a small golden bunny now. She turns to Dashing and to Lorne, who is also on the table munching happily on some cookies. Lorne is not with you, Delaelia. He stayed in the apartment because he's eating some food. He's eating some cookies.
Him's my buddy.
You know, he's eating some
Emma, if he dies, this is all on you.
He's not gonna die. This is gonna be a very roleplay heavy episode. I mean, there could be combat, but only if you guys decide to start shit. Only if you decide to start throwing punches.
Don't throw punches. I'm with a really cute girl.
And Pria says, "Do you boys
really
want to
cute, and really unavailable."
Darn.
It's okay. It's the best kind.
And Pria says, "Do you want to come with, boys?" And Lorne isn't really. He looks up and kind of like and shakes his head and goes back to his cookies. And Dashing says, "Yes, actually." And he holds himself up as tall as he can in his little bunny body. And he says, "I would like you to draw me a bath, woman."
Thea's just gonna go, apologies. It's fine. Dashing, just shut up and follow behind us.
But Pria it's like she didn't even hear what he said. And she's just like, he's talking and it's so cute.
Yeah, it's so cute. Let's go.
Okay. Do you let Dashing hop along behind you? Or do you pick him up?
I'm gonna pick him up by the scruff of my neck, scruff of his neck, and put him under my arm.
And he like straightens himself as much as he can, like he's like you are his handmaiden or something. Thea's face. And you guys head down to the bathhouse, which is not a sexual place in Afonydheuoedd. It's just a place where you can go take a bath. So yeah, you travel on down. She leads you down the tree. Their condo was like up like in the mid-level of the trees. You get the impression that they're pretty well off as far as things go. And so she leads you down the tree. She takes you through the city, holding your hand the entire time, just kind of like marching along with purpose. Partly because she's excited, but partly because she doesn't want people to get a good enough look at you to ask any questions. And she takes you to the Afonydheuoedd bathhouse. And it's nice. It's like a spa, Thea. It's like calming. There's natural beauty. There's plants. There's succulents. There's some kind of there's an elf who's just like playing the harp. just playing the harp so that everyone close by can just find their zen. And Pria is going to lead you into the main lobby, and you see there is a desk with another elf standing behind it. They have short hair that is in two braids, and they're just wearing a very simple, it looks kind of like a work uniform, like a very simple white top and white bottoms, and they're standing there and they say, "Hello, welcome to the bathhouse. How can I help you?"
Thea's just gonna look at Pria.
And Pria says, "Oh, we would like 2 baths, please." And then she looks at you, Thea, and she says, "Do you want a privacy screen?"
Sure.
And then she turns back to the attendant and she says, "And a privacy screen, please."
And then Thea's gonna look at Pria and say, "Does the bunny go to a different bath, or is he coming with us?"
"Oh, that's right." And she takes Dashing from you, Thea, and she presents him to the attendant and she says, "Could we also get a bath for our friend here? This is Prince Dashing." And she beams. And the attendant looks at Pria and looks at Dashing and looks back at Pria. And then Dashing says, "How long is this going to take?"
Oh, hush.
And the attendant's eyes widen and they blink. And Pria just like smiles even wider, like, don't ask questions. It's fine. And the attendant says, "I think we could find a way to give your little friend, Prince Dashing, a bath as well."
Thea's just gonna lean forward and say, I promise to leave you a really big tip. I'm sorry, he is a pain in the butt.
And the attendant looks at you like a little, like they look at you for a second, like they're unsure. They say, I don't believe we've met. Are you visiting?
Yeah, I'm a dwarf named Thea. Couldn't think of another name. I'm visiting from a dwarf town.
And Pria just nods like, yes. Princess Thea, please make a deception check.
Okay, 1 second.
Thea rolled a 21.
Cool.
So the attendant, they nod and they say, welcome to Afonydheuoedd. We hope you enjoy your stay. And they smile and they go over towards, they turn around and they go to the back wall and they take a key from the wall and they turn back and they hand it to Pria and she smiles and says, "Thank you." And Pria seems to know where she's going. So she takes you by the hand again and starts to lead you away. And you see Dashing is still on the counter and he kind of looks after you for a minute, like he's a little concerned. But then the attendant sort of scoops him up and walks away with him. So
I'm just gonna shout back and say, "It'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be really refreshing. I'll see you in like a couple hours."
And yeah, Pria leads you through the bathhouse. You see that the way this is set up, it's definitely a place where people come to bathe. It's not to be confused with a hot spring, which is more about soaking and relaxing in the water. This is a place where people can come to just have a bath. And so you see there's a section where there are showers that people can use, and this all looks like it's kind of made with like natural magic. Like there's not like a faucet. There's like a wooden bamboo like spout, and like from it is coming like water trickling down from above from somewhere. And she leads you through that and then into a room where there are 2 tubs set up, and they are being filled with water. The attendant must have like done something while you guys were walking to indicate that these baths needed to start being filled. And Pria actually takes you over to a closet and she removes some towels, some elven towels, from the closet, and she hands one to you and she takes one for herself. And she says, "I can turn around if you need me to." Or wait, you're a princess. Do you need me to help you out of your outfit? Do you need somebody to bathe you? I don't know.
No. Thank you. That's very kind. I've been on my own for enough time that I've got it. Thanks.
Cool. And you say that, Thea, and another elf comes in, actually 2 of them carrying a privacy screen, and they're being very nondescript. They set it up very quickly and they leave the room. They're trying to be seen but not heard. And you now have a bath on the left, a bath on the right. It seems like Pria is taking the bath on the right. I will say there's no windows in this room, so nope, you're not. Nobody's gonna see you. No one's gonna see you naked. And the screen is like a really pretty bamboo screen with like an intricate, beautiful design on it. You see it's a design of Pegasi flying through the air.
Very nice.
And Pria goes to the one side of the privacy screen, and you can hear her taking her clothes off. And yeah, what do you do?
So wait, there's a screen between the tubs?
Yeah.
I have made a mistake. That's okay. I will undress and get into the tub.
Cool. So as you get in, the water is really warm. It's not too hot. Once again, these elves, they're magical. They know how to do things right. There's a smell, like a lovely lavender and spearmint coming from the water. It's very relaxing. And you see next to the tub, there's a little tiny shelf, and it has various glass bottles with soaps and liquids, and you can assume that would be soap that you can wash your hair with or wash your body with. And there's a little washcloth as well. And you hear on the other side Pria splash into the tub.
Oh my god, she's so cute. It's fine. So, have you lived here like your whole life?
Oh yeah, I was born here.
Oh, cool. What's that been like?
I mean, it's pretty great. You know, I don't know. It's just my everyday life. What do you want to know? No, wait. Tell me more about you. You're a princess. What's that like? I've never met a princess. I've only read about them in fairy tales.
Oh, well, I mean, there's not a whole lot to tell. I'm not, like, a really popular princess or anything. I don't know. My kingdom kind of threw me out because I can do magic, so I never really had a lot of friends.
They threw you out? And
I mean, I guess I sort of chose to leave, but it was because I chose to perform magic, and that's punishable by death, so I kind of had to leave. But, you know, it's actually been really great because I met Feliks and Delaelia, and we have been on this adventure, and I've learned so much, and now I'm here, and I'm meeting really interesting people like you, yeah.
And Pria listens quietly, and she's silent for a moment. She says, "Wow, I'm so sorry. I had no idea that you'd been through so much. I'm glad you're here too. It's really cool to get to meet you. I know Barron probably thought that I would be really excited to see a talking bunny, and I am really excited to see a cute little golden talking bunny, but it's also just really cool to meet someone who's not from here. But you
not
said
have
you're
very many visitors?
Oh, I mean, we get visitors sometimes. Sometimes people will come in from the Waste, or sometimes people will come in from other parts of Eos, but we don't really get a lot of human visitors or visitors from, like, where did you say you were from again?
It's called Highguard.
Yeah, I mean, I've never met anyone else from Highguard. I know that that's the kingdom close by, and I know that we're supposed to leave it alone, but I had no idea that magic was punishable by death there. That's just unheard of. I mean,
yeah.
How do you outlaw magic? It's like outlawing breathing.
It's not a great place. I think it used to be when my mom was alive, but after she passed away, she died when I was really young, so I don't even really remember her, but I think that's when things changed, and it just kind of, yeah, it just changed. It's kind of a hard place now. I mean, it's not terrible. You know, I was taken care of, and I had nice things, and I lived in the palace. I just wasn't really ever allowed to be me or go anywhere or do anything.
Wow, I never knew being a princess could be so restricting.
Probably isn't for most princesses. I'm just kind of a special case. But, you know, it's fine. I never really liked being a princess anyway. I much prefer being an adventurer.
And I think at this point, the privacy screen, she starts to push it aside a little bit, and her head pops out, and she says, "Also, I'm sorry about your mom."
Oh, thanks. It was so long ago. But thank you.
Still, that's hard.
Yeah. What about you? What about your parents? They still around?
Yeah. I mean, elves live a pretty long time, you know, provided nothing happens. So my family's still here, just doing our thing. My mom takes care of well, and then Pria looks down for a second and changes the subject. She says, well, my dad, he actually works for the armory. That's why I'm into jewelry, because my dad likes to make weapons and armor. And well, I guess my dad likes to make armor. I guess a blacksmith would make weapons. I don't know. My dad makes armor. So I think working with metal is cool. I've always thought it was kind of cool because that's what he did. So that's
you made that jewelry that you gave to your partners?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I made those.
Wow, that's really impressive.
And she blushes. Oh, it's what I like to do.
That's really cool. I've never been good at making things like that. What were you saying about your mom? She takes care of something?
Yeah, my mom takes care of animals.
Oh, cool. What kind of animals?
All the animals.
Oh.
Hey, do you should try that blue soap because it smells like blueberries. Have you tried it yet?
No, but I will. Thank you. Theia's gonna stop pushing.
I mean, if you want to roll an insight check, Theia, okay. You can.
I will roll an insight check.
There's just like a barn filled with humans.
Oh god.
This is what your mom takes care of?
Oh my god, I got a 7, so she's an impenetrable wall.
I mean, yeah, you kind of picked up on the fact that she's changing the subject, but you're not really sure why, or it doesn't seem.
Making a mental note to ask Delaelia about that later.
And so she kind of moves the screen back, and you can hear her washing her hair and washing her body. And I think we're gonna jump over to Delaelia and Feliks. We'll leave you in the middle of the bath, and we'll come back to it.
I wish somebody would leave me in the middle of a bath.
I know, right?
Side note, if you guys haven't tried the bath bombs from Whole Foods, you are missing out. Do it. Specifically the rose water ones. You're welcome.
I love rose water.
That sounds amazing. Oh, wait, before we switch over, Theia, are you wearing your necklace in the bath, or did you take it off?
I don't think she would have even take it off. I think it's like a part of her now. Like, I wear this bracelet all the time. I don't even take it off in the shower. So no, she's probably wearing it in the bath.
So before we end this, when you're talking about jewelry, Pria looks at your necklace and she says, I couldn't help but notice when you first arrived, that is such a beautiful necklace.
Thank you. It was my mom's.
Aw. Did she give it to you?
No. My uncle did.
Oh.
I think she left it for me.
Oh.
But
that's really special.
Yeah, it's one of the only things I have of her is this and a journal. It's nice. It's a nice connection to her.
It's the sign of the goddess, right?
Yeah.
That's really cool. You don't really see a lot of necklaces like that these days. Kind of old-fashioned.
Really?
Oh yeah, no, it's I mean, these days people are, I mean, I don't know what people are wearing outside of Afonydheuoedd. I know that I like to make, Emma reads from her thing. I like to make jewelry in the shapes of animals, flowers, celestial bodies. Oh my gosh, I love pearls. If I can get my hand on some pearls, I love to make jewelry out of that. But you don't really see a lot of people wearing symbols of the gods and the goddesses unless they're like really into that.
Wow. Well, my mom had magic, I guess. I mean, we went to visit Wahea, Delaelia's mentor, and they said...
Oh, Wahea. And Pria laughs a little bit.
You know her too, or them too?
I know them a little bit. They're kind of weird. I mean, they're kind of on the edge. I don't want to talk bad about them, but I mean, they don't really like come to Afonydheuoedd anymore. They're kind of like a hermit, I guess is the right word for it.
Huh. I don't know. They seemed really kind and helpful. I really liked them. I mean, they are intimidating. I will give you that. Very intimidating. But they seemed like a really good person.
And I didn't mean to say they weren't. Sorry, I wasn't trying to. When I think of Wahea, I think of like that crazy old person that's always like, you know what I mean? I guess does every town have one of those?
Probably. I'm sure we had one. I just didn't really get out of the palace very often. Well, we did have that temple, now that I think about it. Anyway, yeah. I guess my mom did magic, and she was really connected to the goddess Estrella, so that's where the necklace comes from.
That's really cool. Can I touch it?
Sure. Yeah.
And Pria reaches across she has to sit up a little bit to be able to reach you. And
Thea's eyes are at the ceiling.
And you feel her like caressing the necklace. And she's examining it and very closely, and she's like, wow, this is real gold. This is real gold, Thea. This is really valuable.
Is it?
Yeah. Like this is the kind of thing that I would, if I'd made something like this, I would have charged quite a bit for it.
Wow.
It's not super flashy or anything. It looks older. I'm not an expert on appraising by any means. It's just and she's still like looking right at your necklace, Thea, and her torso is exposed. I will say she's leaning up out of the bath, so her torso is exposed, and she's still like looking at this necklace and kind of like tracing the circles on it.
She is being a gentlewoman and staring straight at the ceiling, not because she has issues with bodies, just because she very much likes the person who is in that body and doesn't want to be a creep.
And her finger lingers on the circle in the center, and she says, and that's sapphire. This is a really nice necklace.
Thank you.
And then she leans back into her own bath and she smiles.
Thea lets out a little exhale and just kind of sinks into the tub a little bit.
Also, if I was Thea, like if Thea was Kelsea, not Delaelia, then Thea would have said, yeah, I'm a fucking princess. Like, yes, my necklace is the best you can get. Okay.
The camera pans over to Delaelia and Feliks, who are walking down a staircase on their way towards the armory. Delaelia knows her way around Afonydheuoedd because she's from here. So Delaelia, is there anything you want to describe as you're on your way to the armory, or what the conversation that happened right before you left was Asher telling you about Zendaya? So I'm going to plop you two into on your way to the armory and let you talk some if that is okay. Okay.
Yes. So, Feliks, this is Afonydheuoedd. What do you think of the city?
It's clean. It's very big. I'll give it that.
Very big.
Yeah, it's very impressive. It reminds me of like all the old storybooks and everything that talk about the elven cities. I'm really amazed that I am actually getting to see one. Like that's a bucket list for me.
Well, good. I'm glad. How would you feel about going and stopping in and seeing my parents?
Yeah, absolutely. If you need to see your family, that's a great idea.
I don't need to see them. If it was convenient for you, I would do it.
No, we should. You don't know how long we're going to be on the road. You should see your folks. Say hi.
Right.
I think we should make that a stop.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do that. Let's go to the armory though. We might see Priya's dad there.
Oh, he works there?
Yep, he's one of the armorists.
Oh.
Look at all of us not knowing what it
Blacksmith.
is. Not knowing about it. Yeah, he's a blacksmith.
That's the elven
Look, I've
word.
watched like several seasons of Forged in Fire. Like, I know nothing about it. So yeah, I'm honestly surprised that we saw Barron out in the woods. He's not very outdoorsy, but I guess you just have to follow the path that lies ahead of you.
Yeah. He's fun.
Yeah.
It's something interesting I'm finding. To be honest, there weren't a whole lot of elves that would come through Wondertrundle a lot. But you guys always struck me as the very stoic, solitary type, but so far you and your cousin have proved me wrong in every single assumption I've made about elves. I appreciate that.
I think that elves try to pretend that they're only stoic and silent when it comes to non-elves. Like when communicating with them, we don't want to look like we're too friendly because we don't want to be welcoming, which is sort of the thing.
Huh.
But when it all comes down to it, all people are the same.
And you approach the armory. It is large, beautiful. You enter through like a big archway with and there's columns, like this big room with lots of columns in it, and you see all the armor and weapons like up on the wall. I'm actually going to send you a link if you actually wanted to buy anything, because I figured that's why we were coming, and I'm going to put in the Facebook message. Felix, being an Afonydheuoedd reinforces your gnomeness because everything was made for elves. But this room specifically is very grand. So I think this is just even more of a reinforcement of like, oh, this world was made for taller people.
Oh yeah, no, he's pretty winded from the stairs. Like they're big steps, so he had to take big steps all the way down. Like it's been fun.
And as you enter, you see there is one other person in this room, and like the bathhouse, they are also standing behind a sort of reception desk, a front desk, if you will. And they look at you when you enter, and you're right, it is Pria's dad, who I have not named. Let me see if there is a name on this NPC list that I just decided it was going to be Pria's dad 5 minutes ago.
Yay, DMing.
I knew there was going to be an elf here. Didn't know it was going to be Pria's dad.
That's a secret, Captain. I bullshit all the time.
Mm-hmm. Let's name her dad Syed. Was it Syed? S-Y-E-D. We had a listener on Twitter.
Yeah.
Syed. So we're going to name Pria's dad Syed. S-Y-E-D.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for sharing the podcast, Syed.
Thank you. So you see Syed, Delaelia, and he is exactly everything you were just describing. He is stoic and noble and looks very imposing. He is actually wearing some armor, I think, just because he's in the armory, and it looks good for the elf in the armory to be wearing armor. And he actually has some facial hair. Most elves don't, but he's got like some sideburns.
Yes, burns.
And a strong chin.
Hello.
And a strong chin.
Yeah. Is he sort of short or no? Like for an elf?
Yeah, he's a little bit broader and shorter for an elf because Pria is small and curvy. So you can kind of see where she gets it. Her dad is a little bit shorter and a little bit more broad.
Good day, Syed. This is my friend Felix. I don't know if you remember me. And I stick out my hand to shake his hand. Delaelia.
And he sticks out his hand and he shakes your hand with a very firm grip and he says, Delaelia, yes, I do remember you. You are Barron's cousin, correct?
That is correct, yes. We're actually here to see Barron and celebrate his anniversary with all of them.
And Syed nods and he says, that's wonderful. How can I be of assistance?
Well, Felix and I are on an adventure of sorts. We are doing some things and have found some adversaries, so we think it would be nice to come and see if you have anything that could make it a little bit easier. And also to show you some of the things that we've acquired. Felix, would you be willing to show him your new sword?
Oh, yeah, sure. And Felix draws the sword and yeets it up on the table. I love that my shoulders popped when I did that.
I'm so upset that word was used in this podcast. All I can think about is TJ Burton, although I do love him, so maybe that's okay.
Shout out to TJ Burton.
Oh!
And you yeet that sword up onto the counter, and the Syed takes it in his hands and examines it, inspects it very, very carefully. He takes his time. He's in no rush. And you can see his brows furrow. And Delaelia, he is not an elf that shows much emotion on his face, but you see a slight furrow of the brow. And then he raises his eyebrows a little bit, and he looks down at you, Felix, and he says,
This is a very impressive sword. Where did you find this?
I won it. I answered some riddles from a very weird. Did the characters ever figure out what he was?
I think we figured out that he was Pax because there was a thing.
He was a leprechaun.
Yeah, I was like, did the characters assume he was a leprechaun, or did I think Felix had an idea that it was Pax, but I don't know if that was ever like confirmed or anything.
We totally talked about it when we were in the temple.
Yeah, you guys figured out he was Pax. I don't know if your characters ever figured out that he was taking the form of a leprechaun, but you definitely figured out he was Pax because I'm editing that part in the podcast right now.
Okay, awesome. Okay.
Or that he was a leprechaun. Lydia didn't, so.
So Felix is like, I won it. I won it off of the god Pax. Answered a riddle, or 2, or 3. How many did I answer? 3.
Like 6.
We answered 6 total.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a birthday gift to him, I guess.
Felix, can you roll a persuasion? He doesn't believe. You can tell he doesn't believe him, Delaelia. Delaelia, I think, has a little bit of an easier time reading elven expressions because they're so very subtle. But you can tell that Syed is skeptical. 15. Oh, wait.
Sorry,
15.
No, it's still 15. Yay!
Meant to be. So
Meant to be. Thank
Felix.
You, Pax.
Thank you, Pax. That's right. Because you get higher charisma.
I do.
And Syed, he looks impressed, and he looks back at the sword and he says, that is quite the story. I wonder, I can't help but ask, would you be willing to part with it for a fair price? One does not find a sword like this just anywhere.
I just recently came into possession of this sword, and I feel like, I might get some bad juju in return. Oh, I should say that word. I might get some bad vibes from, Pax if I sell his sword that he gave to me. So, I think maybe I should hang on to it. And he's like kind of trying to reach back over the table. Like he's like, okay, I don't feel comfortable with this anymore. I want my sword back.
Honestly, Syed, we need all the help that we can get. And I take off my glove and I show him my ring. And on the table, there's like a little glow from my hand underneath as well.
And he's still holding the sword, and he looks at the ring on your hand, and he looks back at the sword and then at Felix, and he pauses and reluctantly hands the sword back to Felix, although he does keep looking at it. And then go ahead, Felix.
Could Felix roll perception on Delelia's hand? Because he hasn't seen it since then. So
please do. 18. Felix, as Syed is handing the sword to you, you happen to glance over at Delaelia and notice a slight glow underneath her hand on the table, a greenish glow that is definitely emanating from her hand. Syed, still a little bit distracted by the sword, doesn't seem to notice Delaelia. He looks back over to your hand and looks at the ring, and in doing that, he takes your hand, and thus the glow of the light is kind of covered as he puts one of his hands under your hand to bring your hand closer to his face. But Felix does catch that slight glow, and Syed looks at the ring and he says, I am no expert in jewelry, but this looks to be a ring made of wood.
Check this out. And so I take my bow off of my shoulder and I just draw with no arrow, and then an arrow appears.
And he takes a step back and he says, How did you do that?
It's the ring. Isn't that so cool?
And he again blinks, and seems astounded that you have come into this armory with not only a god sword, but a magical ring. And he there's actually there's actually Delaelia up high on the wall. There is a target that has been affixed up on the wall, like when you think of like the rings, like the red ring, the white ring, the red wing, the right wing. Do you actually do you point the arrow and let it go at the target, or do you just draw it and then?
I'll point at the target and I'll look at him like, is that cool? Just to see if that would be something he'd be against.
And he gives a slight nod, like he wants to see if this is an arrow, or if this is maybe some kind of trick.
So I shoot at it.
Awesome. Delaelia, you shoot the arrow and it flies through. Actually, you should roll an attack roll to see how well it goes, right? Yeah. Roll an attack roll.
I've never done it before. I honestly, now that we're discussing this, I've never used this before.
No, you haven't.
No, because I was using the silver ones.
And it's just the same as any other arrow. I just want you to roll an attack roll on the target, which has a very low DC because it is a target. Or very low AC.
Oh yeah, it is a target. Well, I accidentally rolled advantage, but it's an 11, which is not great.
That's fine. It's a target that isn't moving. So
yeah, you're right.
The bar is low.
The bar is very low. The bar was gonna be like 10 max. So
right.
You draw back your bow, Delaelia, and you let the arrow fly. And as it soars through the air up towards the target, all of a sudden you all hear this very high-pitched whistling sound, like a tea kettle ringing when the tea kettle is finished and the water is boiling. And as the arrow flies through the air, you hear this whistling sound. It hits the target, and in doing so, the arrow goes into the target and then combusts into a splash of hot water. Make a dexterity saving throw to not get hit by hot water.
Wait, do I have to as well?
Whoa.
Yes, everybody. I'll make one for Syed too.
Except me, because I'm not there. I'm already in hot water.
Oh no!
There it was.
Oh no, Felix!
It's an 8!
Oh no, Felix!
God dang it!
Rolled an 8. Syed rolled a 15, so he dives out. The water doesn't even hit him. Like, he's further away, and so he's not even in the line of fire. Delaelia, what did you roll?
11.
Okay, so I think that you're fine, Delaelia, but Felix, as this arrow explodes into water, you do happen to, some of it splashes across your torso, across your face, and you do take 2 points of damage.
Wait.
Whoa, I am so sorry. No one, what? I should have practiced that outside. I am so sorry.
Explodes into what?
Felix, are you okay?
Ow, I'm fine. Did your water? That's a thing it does?
Right?
Oh, ah.
It doesn't make any sense to me. I thought this was Kildora's ring. I have no idea.
Saeed is just staring at you, Delaelia, and he says, would you mind if I tried it as well?
Sure. I give it to
And
him.
he takes the ring, and his fingers are a little bit bigger, so he has to put it on his pinky finger.
And I'll hand him my bow.
And he takes the bow, and he gestures for you to stand back, just in case.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes the bow, and he points it at the target. I'll roll for him just to see if he gets the nat one or not. He's pretty good at things. He rolled a 19, so
damn.
he pulls what's it called? The string. He pulls back the string, swift as the wind, and releases the arrow towards the target. This time, as the arrow flies through the air, instead of the high-pitched whistling sound, you hear the sound of a chicken going quack, 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 quack. And as the arrow hits the target, it explodes into a pile of feathers. And it's just like raining down feathers.
What? I want to try it again. I reach back and try again.
Syed hands you the ring back, and you want to try again.
Syed, when we were given this ring, I was told that it was Kildora's ring and that it gave unlimited arrows. I had no idea they were all trick arrows.
Where did you get the ring, Delaelia?
Also from Pax. I guess now that we mention it, it makes sense that it would be a trick ring.
That tracks.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he nods, still looking impressed, but he does hand you your ring and your bow back if you want to try it again.
Okay, I'm going to try one more time. Everybody stand back. 17.
Awesome. So you, once again, pull back your string. You let the arrow fly. This time, as it flies through the air, you hear a sound, and when it hits the target, the arrow disappears, but it leaves a noxious cloud of really smelly green.
So does it look like any damage is being done to the target?
Yes, damage is still being done. You can tell that your arrow is hitting.
Oh my god.
But it's not hitting without some weird fucking thing happening.
Guys.
That's so
Is
funny.
Pax peeves?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh my god.
He's the jokester, yeah.
Theos just takes his hat off and starts waving it, like trying to get the...
Well, Syed, I can authentically say none of us thought that was going to happen, but how about that?
Syed takes his sleeve and covers his face, and now he's looking less impressed and a little more irritated, and he says, "Do you want to purchase anything while you're here?"
Well, the reason I hadn't used this yet was because I've been using these silver-tipped arrows. Some of our adversaries are almost completely immune to everything except silver. Do you have anything else that could be affordable that might be silver?
We don't normally carry silver weaponry, but I do have this. And he goes over to the wall and he pulls down some elven chainmail.
Ooh.
Would you be interested?
Is it? I don't think I'm content with my current armor situation. How much are you asking for this armor, Syed?
That is a good question. Let me consult my chart. Let's see. So medium armor is usually for a chain shirt, it would be 50 GP. For scale mail, it's 50 GP. So I'm going to say because it's elven, he's going to ask a little bit more for it. Actually,
don't spend your money on me. That's fine.
I don't have 50
That's
GP.
okay. I still like you.
50 GP?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you know how like when you were talking to Erickson and he was like, it's 200 gold for the dragon. I learned that that's really not a lot at all. So instead of me being dumb, I'm going to say Erickson is really dumb and doesn't realize how bad of an offer how good of an offer for you that actually would have been.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind. Do you happen to have a silver dagger? For Poppy. And I wink at Felix. For our friend Poppy, that we know.
He just mouths to her, Poppy? Like he's confused for a second. He was like, who is Poppy? And then he's like, oh, gotcha.
And Syed is confused too, but he rolls a 3 on his perception check. So he just looks between the two of you again and then goes back to looking at their wares and he says, I do believe... No, I'm sorry, we don't have a silver dagger.
I do want to get something for Poppy.
You know what would really be badass for Poppy is if we got her a hand axe.
I'm not sure if if Poppy has the upper body strength.
She definitely doesn't have the proficiency in that.
So
it's a simple melee weapon.
I know that at one point in time we said that Princess Theia didn't have a proficiency with a crossbow, but since she's a princess and it would make more sense for her to have some archery training, if we wanted to fudge things a bit and give her a proficiency with that so that she could have a got like a bow of some kind, we could do that too. It's up to you guys. But I felt bad after we did that because I was like, it would make more sense for her as a noble to know how to use a bow and arrow than a dagger.
She has proficiency in small crossbows.
Oh,
Small crossbows. Okay. Let's see then.
What's your crossbow situation, Syed?
I have many crossbows. I have light crossbows. I have
light is what we're looking for here.
Yeah, Poppy's not exactly.
I'm feeling a little insulted.
They're a light being.
Yes. Well, and he takes one down from on the wall and he presents it to you, and it's a nice looking crossbow, and he says, "This is one of our nicer models. This would be 38 gold pieces."
Do you have a less nice model? Like,
and he puts it back on the wall. No, what, Felix?
Felix is gonna be like, you know what? If it's the best, that means it's gonna be reliable, right? It'll fire when she needs it to. It's not gonna break or misfire or something, is it?
That's right. And Felix, as you're saying this, you hear a voice kind of in your head, in your ear, that says, "Oh, maybe you can get him to lower the price."
My God, the voice is still there.
Oh,
Sass.
it's still here.
It's the sword, guys. Sorry.
So the person who I'm not good at haggling. Okay. The person we're buying this for is very, very important to us. And well, honestly, we're really trying to help Poppy, and the last thing we want her to do is get hurt. You understand? She's very young. She's like a daughter to me. Or he's trying to play to Pria, the Pria dad thing. You know,
and to be completely honest with you, Syed, we've seen crossbows nicer than this for less than that.
All I want is us to keep our little girl safe.
I'm dying over here. Like tears. There are tears happening.
Make a persuasion check with advantage.
Okay.
Who, him or me?
Felix. You're getting advantage because Delaelia.
Because I helped.
That's a 24.
Oh yeah!
You got a 24, Felix. And Syed is very his face is very neutral for a moment, and you see just the slightest glisten of like liquid on his eyeballs. Like he's getting a little bit teary and hearing the story and thinking of his beautiful little girl. And he says, "I understand. I wouldn't want my little girl to get hurt." And he says, "I would sell you this crossbow for 25 gold pieces." He looks at you to see if you can afford that.
That seems like a very fair price. I appreciate
that seems reasonable.
Your big heart.
And a real gift. Yeah, this will be instrumental in keeping our girl safe. And I look at Felix like, ugh.
Beautiful.
And I will purchase 2 sets of crossbow bolts from you as well.
Very well. And you can just subtract whatever amount of money that would be from your account, and he gives you the bolts.
So now I'm indebted to you both emotionally and monetarily. Great.
That's how I like it. That's how we like it.
Luckily, you're a princess, and you have a kingdom with money in it.
Do I, though? I'm not welcome back there. I gotta find a way to make some money, guys. I gotta get a job.
Syed, I really appreciate your assistance today. Do you have a suggestion of a place we could go to get rations for the road?
Oh, yes. You could just go to the general store, which should have a more elven name.
Market is a good...
Market.
Oh, Jesus.
The market.
The Riverleaf Market.
There it is!
Look at that.
Rebecca
gets a point of inspiration.
What about I came up with a
nice.
market.
I thought of a basic word for a thing.
Okay, princess. No.
I'm upset.
Okay,
but it's
Poppy.
fine.
So Syed gives you. Syed says, Yes, you could try the Riverleaf Market.
All right, we will do that.
And
I bid you adieu.
And he nods his head respectfully.
Oh, okay. We're going. Thank you so much for this.
As you turn to leave Delaelia, you see someone standing in the archway to the armory.
Yikes, who is it?
It's your dad.
Oh.
What is up with Delalia's ring? And where's that strange voice coming from? How will Delaelia react to seeing her father for the first time since she left home? We'll find out next time on Spellbound. Songs in this episode include Spellbound and Spellbound Part 2 by Vindsvept of Bandcamp.com, Magic Forest, Garden Music, and Mischief Maker by Kevin MacLeod of incomptech.filmmusic.io. All other songs by Alexander Nakarada of serpentsoundstudios.com. All sound effects from zapsplat.com. Until next time.
Guys, improving is hard. Our friends who do it for a living are really talented.
Happy Halloween.